Hey guys, alrighty. So, man, today was once again just such an ugly day of trading. We for a lot of the day, and I think something that's frustrating looking at a daily time frame versus looking at what's actually happening intraday is we had a big flush end of day. So on NQ or ES, sorry, we dropped 20 points in 15 minutes. That's a pretty large drop. Now, what's even more incredible about that is for pretty much the whole day, from basically 8:15 a.m. until basically power hour, we held inside of about a 4 point range. There was a point during the day where almost an hour wise, we closed inside a 1 point range. These days are miserable to trade. Really going into power hour, and all the volume pretty much from today came during power hour. We ended up hitting about 64 mil here, which is way more than we had yesterday. Remember, end of day yesterday, we were at like 48 mil. Now, the thing about this is it's frustrating because, looking at yesterday's candle, I mentioned that we kind of had the doji possible bounce higher here. So, which is interesting because we did get that, but then you can see here, we ended up by end of day dropping and giving it all back. And now we have a bearish engulfing candle. So, this honestly, the last 4 days is just some of the ugliest movement and price action that we've had, especially intraday, in a very long time. So we have, again, stronger daily sellers on SPY, which is not bullish, which does justify why we're coming down. Now on ES, we also have weakened daily buyers, which again justifies why we're coming down and can't push up. So the hard part about today really is that a lot of the day we were green, and we had a very large green overnight move, but again, we couldn't do anything with it, and we just found ourselves stuck all day. So, question is, where are we going next? This is the tough one. We could be looking at kind of like a scenario right here where we get the daily 8 EMA bounce and then we look to push up. We could be looking at more of, let's see a good example. Something like this where we failed to bounce and then we push down to the 20 EMA support. It's really tough right now. There's not a good sense of direction that I have. Nothing about the intraday feels bullish, but at the same time, it's really hard to bet against these bulls because the bears really can't do a whole lot. So right now, my target, if we close under daily 8 EMA support at 518.25, we're going to target 517.16. And then tomorrow would be the 20 EMA right about 515.64, which is also our trend line. If we get either a double bottom or maybe a gap up and get an inside day, then eventually our target is 523.43. Once we close over this, we should, much like here, see our next move up. Going over to ES, same thing, just straight ugly price action here. We kind of have an inverted hammer doji reversal here, so we might get the 8 EMA support bounce, double bottom, which is what we actually did overnight. So overnight was really impressive. This is something that for most of the day made me feel bearish, was because we opened up at 5280.75, and from there, that was our low of day all the way until power hour. So very rarely do we ever, if you look at all these candles, very rarely ever do we see, this is one of the only times back here, but that was a data-driven day, do we ever have no wick to the bottom. We almost always move 5-10 points to the downside before pushing up. So that was very interesting. Then, of course, obviously we gave that all back. So here we're bouncing off 8 EMA support, which makes me feel like we get a bounce back towards 5307, this double top supply here. But again, we don't have daily buyers, so it's hard to justify feeling bullish. But to the same side here, it's hard to feel bearish when we are holding such a critical support. Now, since FOMOC on Wednesday, I have been looking for 52.39 to be back tested. So we might get one of these days where we come all the way down, touch this support, and then ended up pushing up at the end of the day or the following day. I do have 52.39 as a target I am watching. Now, when we go over the Qs here, I've been saying for a while now, going all the way back to February 22nd, this 433.85 to 446.38, this has been our range that we've just held in. So today we came up, we got the inverted hammer bounce, 446.38, we touched it, and look at that. Basically exactly resistance of our candle body. We bearishly engulfed. So again, you think, okay, we're probably going to get some downside. And on the Qs, we have sellers, but they did weaken. So it is actually a little bit hard to justify shorting without daily sellers there. So, this really right here, this 442.99 and 442.86, this is critical support. If we can break through that, then we're looking at a bigger drop down to daily 20 EMA support near 440.2 area. If we double bottom or maybe get an inside day or we just hold daily 8 EMA support, we need to close over 446.38 before we can break out. This is once again where I said tech, even though the last couple days has not been the case, tech has been stronger than ES. This is where the tech has really not broken out of its range like you can see here on SPY. SPY has been making really since the 22nd right here. It has been slowly trending up. While you go look at the Qs, it has just been consolidating. Our midpoint is really right here, right about 440.28, which again is our daily 20 EMA. So that's a pretty good target for tomorrow. Now going over to NQ, same thing here. We put our double top supply at 18,582. Since then, we are just holding that resistance. This is the fourth day in a row now that we have tried to break through and have been unsuccessful. But at the same side, we have the potential inverted hammer breakout off daily 8 EMA support. You can say yesterday held that, and today we didn't even break yesterday's low. So it's a little hard again. Now we don't have daily sellers, but we did have a big drop in daily buyers. So again, it's a little difficult to justify wanting to short into 8 EMA support. However, if we break down, likely our target is this 18,295 area. I actually have a bigger target though of 18,275, which is basically the low from FOMOC right here. Now I do think we might overshoot that down to maybe 18,200, but for the most part here, like I said, this is kind of our midpoint. If you look at it, is right down here about 18,305, 18,300 area, which is a pretty good target. So honestly, a difficult one for overnight direction. I really see a bear case and I really see a bull case. I think either one has a chance. I'm actually, again, surprised that we had such a big run up overnight yesterday. I would have expected to see more weakness than we did. But again, that's just how this market works sometimes. Now, going over to the VIX here, again, it just goes along with the absolute ugly price action that we've had. So we put our demand, our double bottom demand in at 12.9, and that was on Thursday into Friday. So we pushed up. We didn't quite get to 13.72. We came back down, but what happened is we didn't get a new supply, which is interesting, which meant that there was still an upside VIX case and a downside market case. So you see we came back down to this double demand at 12.79 and 12.9. Hard bounced off of it, but we didn't quite get through 8 EMA resistance. So again, this is our third bounce off this support, which again, if you look at ES, we got 3 bounces off this, and you go over to NQ, we got 4 bounces. That tells me that we're holding support on the VIX and holding resistance on NQ and ES, which very well could lead to a bigger breakdown on the market and a bigger breakout on the VIX. If the VIX can get through 13.72, which is 20 EMA, we got a bigger breakout, and that could bring some weakness into the market. Looking at the dollar here, we got a pretty nice little bull flag. We got a new demand at 104.214 today. So now we have 104.428 as our double top supply from yesterday. That if we close over that, then we got a bigger breakout here. But the dollar remains in a pretty solid uptrend right now. Going over to the 10-year, a little different. So this is kind of interesting as we put our supply in at 4.324%. But since coming down and having this hard bounce right here at 4.194%, we have not put a new demand in on the 10-year yet. So we're kind of, this is really a bull flag if you look at it, which would lead to a breakout unless we close under 4.194%. So generally speaking, I feel like I'm leaning bearish overnight, But with yesterday's run up during the night and then dropping, it's a little hard to feel confident that we're not going to see a similar big wick to the upside overnight. We'll see what this market brings overnight, and we'll see what we get tomorrow. Hopefully we get a little bit bigger of a range to play. But overall, you know, we just kind of take what we can get. I was happy to be green today. I had some Wi-Fi issues at the end of the day, so I couldn't quite trade when I wanted that big drop. So, you know, it is what it is, but we'll try again tomorrow, and I'll see you guys then.